Lovely morning to you, Julie. How are you?
I am fine.
Welcome back from Kororo.
Yes, that's the fulfilling part. Quite tired though, but glad to be here.
Now, most of the times you understand and sympathize with some VIPs we have in the country when such speeches are done and you see some bit of, because some of them have longer days than we do. They're in meetings, they're officiating at functions, ceremonies, then they have to go for the budget reading, then maybe they have... So some of these positions demand so very much than actually the eye meets.
But I'm glad you actually say that, because yesterday, in a very unexpected way, the president's speech was very short. He spoke a thing or two, one, two, three, probably about 30 minutes. That was it. I don't think it stretched to an hour.
And I love the fact of holding leaders accountable.
He was
the parish development model.
One thing for sure, his tone was the same. It was tough. Right from the day, it was a consistent tone from the day he received his results, the declaration forms after being announced as president-elect of Uganda. No sleep has been the word on his heart, into his mouth, and directly directed to the public or to the nation of Uganda, but still kept the same message when he swore in as president of Uganda, kept the same message swearing in, or rather at the State of Nation address. The same message was kept yesterday, but as you have said, it was a twitch where he also held leaders accountable, even leaders in the opposition. Both the opposition and NRM were held accountable. And it's interesting that opposition members chose to wear black, in particular, as a statement they were making towards the things they feel or they deem are not going right in the country.
I just hope these things the opposition do send a message. And if they are worth looking through, they are looked into. Because first it was the boycotting, which they did for some time. The 12th Parliament, for such opposition, boycotting was the order of the day. Now they have worn black. But I hope, if this means something, that someone will listen, and of course we see the changes, if they are worthy, if they carry water into what causes them to do that, and then they react accordingly. Now, Julie, on a lighter note,
right?
Have you ever gone to Ruzira prison?
Yes.
I'm not saying as a remandee.
No, yeah, but I've been trying to sketch when, but yeah, I've done prison outreaches with another place I serve at.
Now there's something that has been very interesting in Ruzira prison, the inter-crime tournament.
Interesting. Inter-crime tournament.
Inter-crime tournament.
Please admit.
Now, this is very interesting. Now they look at, say, the different crimes. Now each form a team.
Okay.
And they have, and I think the Director General of Prisons, either a car or something like that, the team that will win. But if you watch these people play,
right,
Judy, they forget that they're in prison. The fun, the joy, the cheering.
Yeah, for the prison outreaches I've done, that's some of the activities we always have. Play football, play basketball, and in that moment everyone is together the same. You
know, you can't just imagine, say, those of theft versus those of...
what's taking me aback here is the theme.
The inter-crime.
Having teams based on the crimes you committed. I love the activity, but identifying by the crimes you committed, I think...
And then you hear these ones,
right?
Hamad 1-0.
I don't think it's right. Anyways, let's have a look at what we have on the local scene. But if you ask me, I don't think it's right to use inter-crime, because you're in prison for reformation, so that your identity changes from whatever from whatever took you there. You're not a thief anymore as long as you're reformed.
And I hear now those on remand are also calling upon the prison management to allow them be part, because this is for the convicts.
Yes,
now those on remand also want to join this league. But it's something very interesting there. Thank you, Dr. Saija, for that initiative.
It's a good initiative indeed. Let them have the fun, let them play the games and build the sense of community at the end of the day, even if it's on the inside. Definitely.
Now we begin with the budget, where the Minister of Finance, Henry Musasizi, presented the 84.3 trillion national budget for the financial year 2026-2027. At Kororo Independence Grounds, the budget centers on the theme of full monetization of Uganda's economy, which is a strategy designed to transition the 38% of citizens currently in subsistence farming into the formal money economy. President Yoweri Museveni challenged leaders across the political divide to embrace joint monitoring of government programs. Museveni's concerns came in a wake of shortcomings registered in the Parish Development Model Program, where some villages had registered anomalies due to lack of monitoring. Museveni said this must stop, urging members of the opposition to join the wealth creation drive, something leaders agree with. As Uganda prepares to implement the 84.4 trillion budget for the financial year 2026-2027, consumers and businesses are bracing for the rift of new tax measures approved by Parliament. The changes, which take effect on July 1st, will see adjustments in excise duties on fuel, alcohol beverages, betting, motorcycles, cement and selected consumer products. While government insists the measures are necessary to boost domestic revenue, concerns remain about their impact on the cost of living. The government has introduced 750 shillings tax per 50 kg bag of cement. Related products, a 200 tax per kilo of sugar has also been introduced. Motorcycle registration fees at first registration have increased from 200,000 to 500,000 shillings. On cooking oil, a 200 tax has been added, increasing the tax to 400 per litre. A 200 levy has been introduced on petrol and diesel. Parliament has also approved new taxes on betting and gambling. A 15% tax will be charged on winnings after deducting stakes on betting and gaming. This will affect all betting companies, gambling companies and casinos. Parliament also passed a 6% withhold tax on payments made to public entertainers, including musicians and performers. Parliament further passed the External Trade Amendment Bill 2026, introducing a 30% environmental levy on second-hand clothes. Parliament also approved a 5% withholding tax on interest payments made by Ugandan companies to foreign financial institutions through venture. According to the approved budget, the government will increase the pay-as-you-earn threshold from the 2.82 million to 4.2 million annually, translating into a monthly exemption for workers earning less than 335 shillings. Looking at the new penalties, a 2 million shilling fine will be imposed on persons found in possession of unstamped goods, while manufacturers who fail to affix tax stamps on their products will face a fine of 50 million penalty. On IFRIS, a 200 fine will apply for failure to use IFRIS devices or issue electronic receipts. Looking at the tax relief on essential imports exempted from 1.5% infrastructure levy and 1% import declaration fee. This applies to vaccines, medicines, medical supplies, pesticides, insecticides, rodenticides, and acaricides. The National Electoral Commission has upheld the nomination of the two candidates for the Kikuwe District LC5 chairperson's by-election. The petitioner Philip Mbabazi claimed the returning officer had refused to nominate him. Top NRM officials welcomed the ruling, saying it has cleared the confusion among the Kikube residents on who is the NRM candidate. Although campaigns have been ongoing among the two nominated candidates for Kikube District LC5 by-election since 9th of June, their nomination was being petitioned. The petitioner, Philip Mbabazi, who was originally supposed to be the NRM flag bearer, was dropped by his party on the last day of nomination after realizing that he had no papers. NRM then picked the second runner-up, Pade Kisembo, as the flag bearer and was nominated. He welcomed the ruling. Senior party leaders leading the campaigns in Kikube welcomed the decision, saying it has cleared the confusion among residents. The competition now remains between two candidates, that of NRM and for the National Unity Platform, NUP. Voting is on Thursday, the 18th of June. And with that, we come to the end of our local stories this morning. Let's take a look at what Julie has for us on the international scene.
All right, thank you very much, Robert. Looking at the international scene, we're starting off, of course, with matters Iran and the U.S., where U.S. President Donald Trump claimed an initial agreement aimed at ending the war with Iran is closed after posting that he had cancelled strikes on the country. Quote unquote, "We just made a great settlement of the war with Iran," he told reporters in the Oval Office on Thursday. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghei told state TV that reports of an agreement were speculative and nothing has been finalized. Trump has made similar claims in the past that the two countries are close to reaching a deal to end the conflict. Hours before the announcement, Trump had declared he would hit Iran very hard. The U.S. and Israel launched wide-ranging strikes on Iran on 28th February. Iran responded by attacking Israel and U.S. allied states in the Gulf and effectively closing the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route for the world's oil and liquefied natural gas. Despite having agreed a ceasefire in April, the U.S. and Iran have exchanged intermittent fire, including 2 rounds of tit-for-tat strikes this week. At the same time, Trump has also repeatedly talked up the prospects of a deal with Iran. Now going to Thailand, that's in Asia, largest continent. Thailand's Princess Badrakitiaba, who has been in coma for more than 3 years, has died. The royal household has announced she was 47. She collapsed in December 2022 while exercising her dogs. Her doctors attributed it to a severely irregular heartbeat caused by a mycoplasma infection in her heart. With her death, the Thai royal family has lost its most visibly accomplished member and someone who might have played a pivotal role in an as yet unclear succession. She was the eldest of King Vajiralongkorn's 7 children, born on 7th December 1978, to his first wife and cousin, Princess Somsawali. The medical team provided the closest and most intensive care possible, but her condition continued to decline progressively, the palace said in a statement on Friday morning, adding that she passed away at 1948 local time, the previous day in Chulalongkorn Hospital. She trained as a lawyer, getting 2 postgraduate degrees from Cornell University in the U.S. She worked briefly at the Thai mission to the United Nations in New York before returning to Thailand to work in the Attorney General's offices in Bangkok and elsewhere in the country. All right, on to the second largest continent in the world. Nigeria has become the latest African state to repatriate some of its citizens from South Africa following a rise of anti-migrant sentiments in the country. A flight carrying 268 Nigerians has landed in Lagos after leaving Johannesburg on Thursday morning. The passengers were part of around 1,000 people who the Nigerian consulate in South Africa says had registered to be repatriated. Ghana, Zimbabwe and Malawi have already carried out evacuations ahead of a 30th June deadline set by some campaigners for undocumented migrants to leave. Many people from other parts of Africa moved to South Africa around the time white minority rule ended in 1994, hoping for a better life. But with South Africa facing an unemployment rate of more than 30%, anti-migrant sentiments have risen, with protest marches being held in major cities and people facing xenophobic attacks. At the main international airport in Johannesburg, Justin, one of the Nigerian passengers, told the BBC that he had lived in South Africa since 1998. Can you imagine? Well, I also got to understand, Robert, that Ghanaians are also launching attacks on South Africans in Ghana.
Well, if you remember, I think they're one of the first African countries to leave South Africa. And I remember Julius Malema telling South Africans that now 300 Ghanaians have left. If you're saying it's about jobs, so have you gotten these 300 jobs? Show me that you've taken over the jobs that you claim they have taken.
Right.
And this is not good for African unity. And above all, for a country like South Africa, many African countries contributed in the fight against apartheid. Uganda here, we trained apartheid fighters.
Right.
You know, to go and fight against the white man. So I don't think this is the best way to pay back your African brothers who stood with you when you needed them most.
Indeed, indeed. Anyways, it's sad, but I hope at the end of the day it comes to its end and with a constructive solution that unites Africa at the end of the day in the name of the Pan-African spirit. Robert, what do we have in the dailies this morning?
Well, in the new vision, the budget. A big headline there, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Henry Musasi, is holding the budget for the financial year 2026-2027. And in Museveni's speech, economy is strong, says the president. Now, wealth creation, the allocations there, 2.49 trillion shillings. So how is it going to be divided? We look at the sectors that and how much they were allocated. Security and governance, 10.21 trillion. Transport, 8.7 trillion. Agro-industrialization, 2.26 trillion, and tourism 567.3 billion shillings. Now we go to health, that is 5.23 trillion, and finally with education we have 6.66 trillion additional. To enhance salaries is 568.65 billion shillings. That is as of the new vision this morning. Now looking at the Daily Monitor, we have the budget that gives and takes, and they break it down for you, where it gives and where it takes. Then Besigye, Lutale are no show as prison trial stalls, and the Monitor still has so many stories there for you, including today. Oh, he's here. The lizard. We can still afford beans. He says silverfish prices soar as restrictions bite. Now, silverfish.
That's Mokene.
That's Mokene. A meal for the ordinary, yet it has the best nutrients we can talk about.
Right.
Though Ugandans, when people get money, they want to run away from it. Missing. So it has been...
You've enjoyed it for as long as... It's a meal that should be considered anyways. For one who enjoys that meal in particular.
It's not all about, but you see, it has helped fight some of these kwashako, malnutrition, because it has been fairly affordable.
Yes, I agree.
So much as the poorest of the poor could afford buying it, and the rich don't want it. But in terms of health, the poor were benefiting more. That's why you find that their children are very healthy, fat, energetic. Now you go to some rich families and kids come out and you're like, Nayemwe. What happens to these little ones?
Anyways, the Daily Nation, representing Kenya for the rest of East Africa, it was also their budget day yesterday, and the headline is Balancing Act. Of course, therein is the budget allocations, and their Minister of Finance, there Henry Musasi, holding the budget briefcase there. But let's look at the Gazette's front page table of contents and a few notices to pay heed to, starting with the notice of grant of a large-scale mining license. It is hereby notified that large-scale mining license number LML 00717, registered as number 003755, has been granted in accordance with the provisions of Section 62 and 66 to Tororo Cement Limited, PO Box 74 Tororo, for a period of 21 years, effective 19th March 2026. This is given under the hand of the Honorable Dr. Ruth Nankabirwa Sentamu, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, as of the 11th day of May 2026. Also, it is hereby notified that exploration license number EL00739, registered as number 003739, has been granted in accordance with the provisions of sections 42 and 46 to East African Gold Group SMC Limited, PO Box 131766, Kampala, for a period of 4 years, effective 21st April 2026, under the Honorable Dr. Ruth Nankabirwa Sentamu's hand, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, then as of the 23rd day of April 2026. And that brings us to the end of what we have as updates this morning. Let's have a short break. When we get back, we'll talk a bit, of course, the post-budget. You know, what thoughts we have, what does it mean, who lost, who benefited, who gained, and the detail therein with Robert Chiravo Nyonyi International. So be part of the conversation. Save the number 0709602592 and be part of the conversation. Good morning, Uganda does continue. Let's have a short break.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
To Fridays, a bit of different conversations here, but quite lighter than usually is the case. Once again, good morning, and Robert, good morning to you.
A lovely morning to you, Julie. How are you?
I am fine.
Welcome back from Kororo.
Yes, that's the fulfilling part. Quite tired though, but glad to be here.
Now, most of the times you understand and sympathize with some VIPs we have in the country when such speeches are done, and you see some bit of, because some of them have longer days than we do. They're in meetings, they're officiating at functions, ceremonies, then they have to go for the budget reading, then maybe they have, so some of these positions demand so very much than actually the eye meets.
But I'm glad you actually say that, because yesterday, in a very unexpected way, the president's speech was very short. He spoke a thing or two, 1, 2, 3, probably about 30 minutes. That was it. I don't think it stretched to an hour. And
I love the fact of holding leaders accountable.
He was
parish development.
One thing for sure, his tone was the same. It was tough. Right from the day, it was a consistent tone from the day he received his results, the declaration forms after being announced as president-elect of Uganda. No sleep has been the word on his heart, into his mouth, and directed to the public, or to the nation of Uganda, but still kept the same message when he swore in as president of Uganda, kept the same message swearing in, at the State of Nation address. The same message was kept yesterday, but as you have said, it was a tweet where he also held leaders accountable, even leaders in the opposition. Both the opposition and NRM were held accountable, and it's interesting that opposition members chose to wear black in particular as a statement they were making towards the things they feel or they deem are not going right in the country.
I just hope these things the opposition do send a message, and if they are worth looking through, they are looked into. Because first it was the boycotting, which they did for some time. The 12th Parliament, for such opposition, boycotting was the order of the day. Now they have worn black. But I hope, if this means something, that someone will listen, and of course we see the changes, if they are worthy, if they carry water into what causes them to do that, and then they react accordingly. Now, Julie, on a lighter note,
right?
Have you ever gone to Ruzira prison?
Yes.
I'm not saying as reminding you.
Yeah, but I've been trying to sketch one, but yeah, I've done prison outreaches with another place I serve at.
Now there is something that has been very interesting in Ruzira prison, the inter-crime tournament.
Interesting. Intercrime tournament.
Please admit. Now, this is very interesting. Now they look at, say, the different crimes. Now each form a team.
Okay.
And I think the Director General of Prisons is a car or something like that. The team that will win. But if you watch this,
It's one of